I'm continuing a montage of videos. The name's Nicholas Barrett. This one is about policing. It's not actually an anti-police show, believe it or not. To solve something, we're not anti, we're actually pro-police. We have a dysfunction based upon a framework that certain people do certain things based upon their color. It's called stereotyping and profile. In the store, I realized I was surrounded by 6 police cars and dragged out, arms put behind my back, and I asked to speak to them. What exactly is this about? Shut up, get on the car, we're not going to tell you. So for an hour they ransacked my car. And we had a dialogue. The guy said to me, you know, you were slow getting out of your car. And I said, I wasn't expecting this. We could have shot you. And he actually went, pew, pew. You never know, it could have been a shot reverend. So they actually played with me. And an hour later, the only reason they gave me was we profiled you. You drive a certain brand of car and you wear a track jacket, and we thought you were a European gang leader. They had no pictures, they just went on an assumption. And a friend of mine who's an African-American activist, Gerald Giggs, said, welcome to America, you were black for an hour. I've seen thousands of videos of African-Americans, and probably 50 of people being shot unarmed. There was a gentleman called Terence Crutchner, had his hands up in the air in a white shirt, obviously no weapon, against an SUV. It was on a freeway in Tulsa, I believe. Helicopter 1,000 feet up with a white police officer saying, bad dude, man, he looks like a real bad dude. How do you know if you're 1,000 feet up in a helicopter, guy's got a white shirt? The gentleman called Alton Sterling, 37 years old, father of 5, under suspicion of selling videos, maybe with an arm, with a gun. That may be the case, but when I saw the video, he was on the floor, handcuffed, immobile at that point. 2 white police officers, I think one of them said the N-word, I'm pretty sure I'm right, we'll have to ask Sean King about that. And they basically shot him point blank 3 times. That's a cultural thing, guys. We need to change it. We need a new framework of hiring, disciplining, and also mentality. How I see myself is how society's framed me. What comes on my doorstep every day and informs me of who I am is sometimes the identity I take. We need to get into a dialogue. We need to reach a tipping point, and things change exponentially. If I talk about cigarettes and I change that because people are getting killed, why can't I talk about the health and life of people? We're talking about lives, not smoking. Smoking is bad for health, and so is racism. We need to talk to shift it. It can happen. The greatest barrier to us making change is thinking it's been jacked up for so long that it can't happen. And I'm telling you this from my heart, it can happen, and I've been doing this for 10 years and hoping for this moment to share this. We need to activate, not just sit back and procrastinate. We need to not resist. We need to begin by raising awareness to shift culture. Part of a series I've just shot. It's called Six Pack. You may ask, how can health have something to do with what we're trying to do? It actually has a lot. I'm going to bullet point this for you. Individually, how are we going to change racial health? How I look at myself in the mirror in the morning. What's my part that I'm playing? Change all starts with you. Collectively, what are our friends in communities, having interracial meetings, dialogue between people collectively, locally, in schools, in colleges, in police polls, in universities, that's local. Nationally is on TV. TV is really an important medium because a lot of us watch that TV all the time, and we base what's right and wrong on the TV. So it's very critical that we're exposing people to things that we want to change in our community, giving them dialogue that will inspire and create change. A new framework. We need to have a correct schooling syllabus. Our history from 1619, yes, it was history, but it's gone from generation to generation, and a lot of the precepts and decisions we make have been passed on through that history. And condone it, we need to approach it, apprehend it, and overcome it is where it's really important. Nationally is through television, through radio shows, shows that can really impact people in a bigger way, because things we see on TV, we take on board as being reality. So we need to have talks, just like American Race, it started a dialogue. We need to have those talks nationally. We need to look at our structure. New framework needs to be set, a framework where they're not basing things upon the color of your skin, that we're looking at people and celebrating people for being an integral part of a multi-racial functional society. That's a framework, new framework of police hiring. So people that have been abused don't get hired on the police force. It's hard to look into, but consequences. We need to have a new judicial system. We need to have consequences for police who are killing people unarmed. point blank. That needs to change. We need to have sentences that match actions. That's what we need to change. We need to change our educational syllabus so more people understand the history of 1619. I speak to many people who haven't even heard of the history I've spoken to in these previous videos. You can go back and access the videos before this one. It'll tell you more about it. That will only start with a dialogue. The same mentality we have today was started by things people heard. So dysfunction was created through things being normalized for too long and condoned and denied. Dysfunction. The system operates from a series of biases, stereotypes and profiles, but unless we change the mindset of culture, the mindset that creates the system will still remain. It's a preventable cure for it, but it needs to be overcome. It needs to be discussed. We need to stop reacting to things and paying for them to make them okay. We have civil suits. Rodney King's a prime example. In 1991, he was the first African American that was videoed being beaten brutally by police. They gave him a large payment, but the health problems from being victimized outweighed the amount of money he was given. He died prematurely. It's happening to African Americans in their everyday life. They talk to me how when a police car is following them, how they feel they may be pulled over at any time. This has come from a fear of things that have gone on for decades, for centuries. They're very, very real. There's a mindset that creates that. I've explained it to you. It's a mindset not only in a barista but in a policeman. It can be in anybody. It can also be in you to be accountable individually, collectively for our part of it. We need to have a dialogue, just like smoking 20 years ago was everywhere, now it was nowhere. People realized it was bad for the health of society. Racism is bad for society. It impacts everybody. Injustice in one place is injustice everywhere. It's a discussion between you and me, a seed we've sown that goes far and wide. I believe in this. We need to believe it can change before it happens.